Hello ladies and gentlemen, we are now entering the second game. I couldn't find the game, like a YouTube link with the draft sequence of things. We're just gonna judge the champion choices and then work from there. I don't know any of the bands, I don't know the sequence of how things were picked, but I'm just gonna look at the final product here of both teams. Holy, the song is so inconsistent in terms of how loud it is. Sorry, I just need to change the volume. Okay. Top Esports now on the left side of the map. They have an Orianna into a Silas. Let's just start from there. Silas has changed so much. Let's take a look at what some of the ults he has. Honestly, not too fancy, these ults. It's I guess the Senna ult is quite nice. The Braum ult is quite nice. Rek'Sai Mordekaiser is okay, you know, like Mordekaiser ult is okay. Rek'Sai can make you survive. Nothing too crazy, right? Nothing Alistar level, but there are still indeed some nice ultimates to take here. So it's not like a situation where you're playing against Elise and something else like Elise and Jace, right? It's not a disaster. In terms of how strong Silas is, honestly, his W is super strong, and if you can land the Q, you can do a lot of damage. There's no shield on E, and I think it's a lot more punishing when you do mistakes now with Silas. If you make a mistake, if you mismanage the wave, if you get pushed in and you don't get the room to all in as much as before, then you're going to be in trouble. I think Silas's role is very defined now. He is more of like a melee assassin, bruiser-ish, similar to Akali, in comparison to what he used to be when he had so much freaking wave clear. And that's usually Riot's big mistake, right? They're creating an assassin, bruiser type deal like Akali, and then they just give it too much wave clear and sustain. Because now this version of Silas doesn't have that much wave clear. He still, of course, can clear waves because he has AoE in his passive. He has attack speed. But I think we'll just have to wait and see. This is a champion that I have very little information on. I've seen a lot of people have success with it. I think it's strong. I think it has a place in the meta. We'll have to just let Scout teach us the way. For the rest of the draft, GJ still got the Lee Sin on red side. Didn't need to first pick it last game. Senna and Braum, I think, are very powerful, but Braum less so against Leona and Lucian. Lucian is something that gets banned very frequently. Very frequently. This time around it got slipped through. The reason it gets banned is because on bottom it's quite strong, very good with the crit items, and at the same time it can be laned in mid lane. Scout loves his Lucian. It can be laned in top lane. It's a very strong flex that the enemy has to think about when you're picking your champions. Top lane matchup, Mordekaiser against Aatrox I think is fine. For both, I think there's room for both. The significant advantage here is the fact that it's a Rek'Sai against Lee Sin, so Mordekaiser itemizing armor is very powerful and strong against Aatrox and Lee, and will benefit him against the jungle as well. But of course, in the context of Aatrox, if he itemizes MR, Rek'Sai will one-shot him. So this is what makes Top Esports matchup top better. Orianna versus Silas, I think it all depends on how aggro Orianna can play, because I think if she can push and play the lane by herself and poke is going to be better. If Silas can all in and fight constantly is going to be better. And I think early on Orianna has an advantage. We'll just have to pay attention to see how those all-ins early on work, because Orianna's not playing with a keystone early. I think the biggest outlier here in terms of what can be most explosive is first the jungle performance. I think Rek'Sai is going to be better for mid. EDG together with Lucian Leona definitely have a better matchup in the bot, but I think Senna just plain OP. So based off of this, I think Top Esports is going to be the winner. I think Rek'Sai, Orianna, Mordekaiser is definitely the stronger top side, and then Senna is just OP. I think Senna is the most busted champion in the game, so let's just jump into it. Let's see. I've given you guys my preconceived notions of this draft. Later on, EDG will want to break the top tower. I mean mid tower, not top tower. They will look to most likely play onto bottom. I think it's important that you snowball bottom. Very important. And then Aatrox will be isolated on his own on top side. Tobii Esports will look to play on the mid 2v2 and then transition into bottom, and then later play a 4-1 hybrid, Mordekaiser on splits, and if Mordekaiser is strong enough, look to you know, win split and then look to push, and then just scale into the game with Senna Orianna. Okay, so GJ just hovers around mid lane, shows his position. Rek'Sai gaining a lot of tempo and time here because Lee Sin only did one camp and Rek'Sai is already on his third, so this is an issue. I don't think, it doesn't look like Aatrox leashed, because usually if Aatrox leashes, he's going to lose his prior level 1 here. Aatrox didn't leash, Lee Sin is doing blue now, Braum is spotting him, he's going to look to ward, and now Lee Sin's position is exposed. He is nude in the wild. Rek'Sai is now level 3, hovering into bottom. Senna and Braum are getting prio indeed against Lucian and Leona. They have to respect the Rek'Sai because Lee Sin's position is exposed. Kaz is hovering into mid. I don't think diving scout is a thing. He's going to look to clear as much as possible, or maybe even find Lee Sin. He's looking, he's looking, he's looking, he's sweeping, he's sweeping. Diving scouts here is not really a thing. It's not a thing at all. Knight Orianna is a thing of beauty. The LPL mid laners and Orianna, it's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy the level they're playing at. Rek'Sai is now hovering behind here. This can be a game-defining all-in. The cleanse is not landing. Braum, nice flash from Fotik to get away. Double TP, Senna and Orianna. Ooh! Ooh! Oh! That's one! That's two! Oh! 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 It's so close! It's so close! Wow, wow, wow. Okay, so obviously, like with the Senna and Braum, he cannot really stack the passive that fast with Senna. Sure, Q applies passive, but you don't stack so fast because your attack speed is relatively low, but all good. Knight, of course, is weaker than Sylas in an all-in fight like this. Sylas is very happy to have fights like this. He just gets in there and, you know, uses his engage abilities. He likes to all-in. Champions that like to all-in, they like to brawl. And Orianna's not one of them. Orianna tipping into the fray and doing absolutely nothing, at least saving Braum. That's a big deal. Kasa flashes in, so it means he cannot flash out, and then boom, Meiko with the flash at the right time. Very, very nice. Meiko's Leona is one of the best in the world, if not the best. And then you can see Scout there with the flash. Knight has to walk away. Flash burnt. They save QQ. Very close there. The Hope gets another kill, and 0 for 1 advantage EDG, of course. EDG's bot wave though is in a very bad position. Is it bad, or is Tobii Esports' position bad? I'm just thinking here that Braum can take potions and then it will be difficult to push this wave in. Lee Sin is around. EDG is fine. It's a good wave. It's a good wave. Senna's gonna catch these creeps. Orianna walking into mid using both summoners. This is a lot of good breathing room for Sylas, honestly, because early levels are usually the hardest for melee champions. We have a replay, that's the flash onto Leona, but focusing Leona is not the way forward. Not the way forward. She's a very, very tanky broad. Top lane matchup, freezing here for Gino. I'm freezing now because he queued the wave pretty hard. GG is in position. They're looking for the gank. This is probably the best time to do it, because if you don't nail the gank now, then, you know, it's going to be tricky to ever do so, because the armor's going to come through and... Ooh, okay. Okay. Beautiful execution. Flash for flash, but a kill onto Mordekaiser. Always, if you want to kill a Mordekaiser and you have double AD, this is the time to do it. And very, very... intriguing here, because the position of the wave is quite bad, and I think the move here for Kasa is definitely to support his top laner. It needs to stand behind him, and 369 definitely needs to push this in. GJ recognizes it, and if Rek'Sai is here to counter gank, this could end horribly. But instead, he did get away with a kill. Rek'Sai got wolves. Good trade, I guess. Good trade. Good trade. Kasa needs to be there, guys. Ninja Tari now for Mordo. He wish he had him during the previous gank. Maybe they would have saved him. They would have saved him. Ninja Tari is OP. Mordo now pushing out the wave. No flash for Aatrox now. Maybe it could result in some good action for Morda, because right now he has stronger items. Ninja Damage is better than Kindle Gem, and Morda looks to all in, he's definitely going to win. Aatrox needs to play on poke, needs to play on sustain. 0-2 in EDG's favor. No summoners for bottom. Lee Sin wasted a lot of tempo to kill Mordekaiser, so the impact onto bottom is going to be slower. EDG eyeing this Drake. Top Esports playing through the mid 2v2. Orianna Mana be in trouble, honestly. She has 2 biscuits, so she can recover like that. No flash. Top Esports get hit by a Q. He has Ignite ready for Silas. And Knight has to take a safe path because right now EDG are contesting. Leona is not on bottom, so Top Esports are trying to gain some space here by fighting onto Lucian, forcing Mako to potentially show. EDG full focus on the Drake, similar to the previous game. Senna is growing fine, good movement here from Top Esports to be ready for this gank, but Kasa being very inactive. GG is doing much more in this game. Kasa has literally just been farming jungle camps for the last 4 minutes of the game. Right now he's going for the Rift Herald. Maybe there is some hope here for EDG to be on time and to contest. Lee Sin is hovering to it, but it looks by the angle that Lee Sin is walking that he's just looking to go for Mordekaiser. Top Esports top laner is going for this freaking golems, which is crazy. No ult to be found. Rek'Sai is doing Rift, and Orianna can go back into mid lane because Scout is in base. Flashless Senna, flashless Braum went unpunished. They are back now with their flashes on. Worth to point out, Senna and Braum being this satisfied in this lane against Leona Lucian puts this whole Lucian ban business into perspective. I think Lucian is indeed better on mid and top, but there are very few players that can play it well on mid and top. And on bottom there's AD carries like Misfortune, Senna, Aphelios that are just better in my opinion. But Senna being 20 CS ahead here is a massive deal. It's a very big deal. She's gonna base now, get her Sapphire Crystal item, tier and pickaxe, and then refillable. Very juicy. Very juicy. EDG didn't get anything from this. A very stale game. EDG are doing a better job of controlling bot river. The thing that we want to see EDG do is pressure this Orianna off and then hover into bot side jungle together with Scout. Scout now has a blue, but he's taking a lot of harassment every time he's locking up to the wave naturally against Orianna. Orianna can just look to freeze the wave in front of the turret and then just hit away on the Silas. Rek'Sai is now hovering around bot, predicting a dive because it's very difficult for Knight to maneuver himself when there's so much control of the river. EDG now with the dive onto bottom, but this is the first action in a long time. TPs are now on. Orianna has TP, Silas has TP, so this is a very difficult dive to execute. EDG are very happy with this stalemate. Q lands, there is the punch on GG. GG needed to flash, and diving bottom is very difficult. They sacrificed 6 CS for this and gained nothing out of it. I think the main goal here is to just maintain control, be happy with the fact that Scout is able to push, make sure that you are in a good state with Silas here, and then eventually maybe try to kill the Orianna. Instead they're giving up a lot of CS, trying to overforce onto bottom. There's no Drake, Orianna has TP, she's going to keep it, and all is good. Who is the best Chinese top laner? Well, do we count the Shy as a Chinese top laner? Okay, Gino with some levels now, fighting back, poking away. Better sustain always for Aatrox. Mordekaiser needs to look to find all-in situations. Lucian, Leona and Lee Sin, Silas hovering around Drake. Very good control of the bot side river, EDG. They're maintaining it, sacrificing some CS on Silas of course, but it does mean that they're going to have a better and easier way of taking this Drake. Rift Herald gets summoned because it was about to run out. Rek'Sai, I think in order for them to gain some activity, need to look to fight here on the 3v3 mid lane. Hope is in better position. Kasa gets caught. Kasa needs to flash. Mako doesn't land. Combo now on Braum. He doesn't have his shield on. Does in fact use Zhonya's stopwatch. Huge Orianna ult lands on 3 people. Leona dies and QQ manages to survive with a sliver of health because of heal. Okay, so it starts very well here for EDG because they managed to catch Rek'Sai, but after Rek'Sai flashes out, they have indeed used a lot of their spells. Then they use the full combo onto Braum, but Braum has a stopwatch, and also there's the shield from Senna. Very nice Orianna ball to ult 3 people and then to force a stopwatch from Mako. Very nice. Very nice. Top esports now hovering around Drake. Scaling is definitely in their favor. I just think Senna scaling is too busted. And then in terms of split push, I don't think it's difficult to accomplish that much in terms of split push against Mordor. I feel even stupid mentioning it all the time because everything is decided by these team fights. Okay. Rek'Sai smites it or doesn't. He just bites it or punches it. Then we have an engagement here. Sylas gets in there and almost one-shots Photic. Sylas has the Rek'Sai ult, is not enough. And then Gino is in the mix. And top esports, honestly off with this, look like heavy favorites to win this. Heavy favorites. Rek'Sai as well is going to be valuable in team fights because the enemy team composition is not that strong against it, so Rek'Sai doesn't fall off. There's no Cassio or anything that would peel him. Senna is also in a very good state. Mordekaiser has TP. He's matching Aatrox. Aatrox also has TP. Starting Drake might be a bit too premature because Mordekaiser wants to indeed catch these creeps on bot. But it looks like EDG are not contesting at all, they're just backing off, and Sylas is on mid. I think if this was the time to fight, no? If anything, I think if you wait any longer, you're going to be way worse off. Mordekaiser is stronger than Aatrox, super far ahead. Rift Herald now for top esports just means they're going to use it potentially on mid lane. I think this looks really rough for EDG. They had a good control over River, but it didn't really amount to anything. It didn't amount to anything, and Sylas was giving up a lot of CS when he didn't need to. Okay, heal has been used. Mako tries to find the guy, but it also means he's gonna die. This was a bit too desperate. Herald being used, turret falls, and top esports are finally looking alive. Orianna has TP hiding behind this ghost. There's the GLP again on Orianna. It's a very standard move. 369 is pretty decent, honestly. I think 369 is the best Chinese top laner if he's Chinese. I don't know. EDG trying something desperate to catch Orianna, but there's a pink ward spotting them, all is good. The tricky part about EDG's composition is that the wave clear is pretty small. The only way they can do anything is to force forward, and right now is not the time where you want to force forward. They want to find picks. 369. Super fat. Boom. Braum and Rek'Sai hovering quite well here. Top esports knowing exactly how many numbers they need to defend mid tower, because honestly the only way EDG even force on mid tower is through a dive. We're just waiting. Oh, that's the dive we've been waiting for. Senna walking up a bit too fast. She doesn't need to. She can just wait for the wave to come, and then boom, 40 uses 2 sums. EDG have their entry point now. This is 3 minutes before the Drake spawns. They can't do Nash. Nash is not an option. It's a Blader Ruin King Lucian. Sure, it does a bit of damage, but yeah, Zoom is pretty good. Zoom is Chinese. Zoom is pretty fucking good. 369 and Zoom are good. Scout doing some jungling. Why not? Well, this game is over. Ooh. How OP is that, man? That is so busted. Ooh. All eyes on Nash. Okay, fight at Nash. Mordekaiser, who you gonna ult? Aatrox, you're mine. Boom, there's a flash, but it doesn't matter. Smack in the face again, and then that's the natural. Oh, Lee Sin level 9. Crack. Yeah, this game is over, guys. We're not gonna need a short review for this one. This is plain and simple over. Top esports playing very cold and very, very calm and collected, making sure EDG couldn't find any picks on site, and EDG being behind with such a composition, they can only move forward. And when forward is not an option, then you are optionless, and if you're optionless, it means you're gonna lose the game eventually. The only options they had was just to try and hope that top esports makes mistakes, but they didn't. Played a very clean end game here. Very, very clean end game. They were up a bishop and they traded down, and then boom, checkmate. Do you always watch VODs back of other power regions to keep a pulse on international competition? During season, it's more about just learning new things most of the time. For example, Silas looked pretty useless this game, but how much can we really judge from this game? Because this game was decided off of other factors. Top esports, better around objectives, and oh. GG. Interesting. Interesting. I think Senna's OP. Why do you give Senna? Senna is first pick material, guys. First pick material.